They say some marriages end in divorce, some in heartbreak, but for Jade, hers was supposed to end in death. This is the story of a woman who was marked for murder by the man she thought she loved, and how her strength turned the tables. Welcome to Death Saved My Life. 6 weeks earlier, Jade and her husband Ed leave happily with their daughter. Ed is a prolific surgeon with great experience and more successful surgeries. On the other side, Jade is a marketing professional who's excelling in her career. At work, her colleague who's also her team member brings a bottle of wine to celebrate her wins and remind her of the award night schedule to hold later tonight. Later in the day, Ed is at home with their daughter. She's playing the doctor role, while her father is her patient. Jade returns home with her sister who they went shopping together. The sister without hesitation tells everyone about the new dress they just got for Jade's award night. For a bit, Ed seems happy about that, but deep inside he is not. The sister decides to take their daughter home so both of them could get ready for Jade's award night. Jade prepares to leave for her award night. With a light and modest makeup, she wears her new dress with her back facing the mirror. She turns to the mirror, and she's shocked to see her new dress torn. She isn't with so much surprise as she knows it's Ed, with mixed feelings not knowing whether to cry or get angry. Ed walks in pretending he's not aware of the damage, but in his words the truth is revealed. To ease tension and avoid quarrel, Jade says she'll wear her anniversary dress instead. Ed says good, that the new dress would make her look like a whore. At the event, Jade is seen with mixed reactions. Smiling yet composed as she's scared which of her words or reaction would get Ed upset, so she acts with caution. But later she lets off guard as she's asked to give a word. She starts by appreciating her team members, that it wouldn't be possible if not for them, not just her. She takes time out to praise her team members for collaboration. She gives them a hug, first a female team member and next a male team member who after whispers to her ear. This got Ed jealous and furious. Back home, Ed starts questioning her on every little detail of what went on at the award party. Jade with a free mind responded to him very well. But tension begins to rise, as Jade feels uneasy. Ed asked about the male teammate and why he couldn't wait to get his hands on her. Jade tries to explain that he's just a work colleague, but Ed becomes more furious, hits her, throws her to the bed, forcing her to tell him the truth if anything is going on between her and the male teammate. Jade says no, Ed wouldn't stop. As tension rises, Ed holds her up and hits her against the wall. Jade becomes very frightened. After the situation calmed, while Jade is lying on the bed with bruises from last night, Ed comes in, plays their favorite song trying to make her feel good. But incidents like that can't easily be erased. Next morning over breakfast, Jade is still in the shadows of last night but trying to keep up a smile. Jade tells her daughter to go play in her room. Immediately she leaves, Ed changes his mood. Ed asks Jade about work and the conversation leads to Ed telling Jade to quit her job and become a stay-home mom. Already getting into an argument, Ed receives a call from the hospital which he has to attend to. Unknowingly to them, their daughter was eavesdropping on their conversation. Jade gets so confused and angry that she broke the plates on the washing shank. Jade moving upstairs, hears her daughter crying in her room. She goes in to ask her what the problem is. She's shocked to know that she's aware of their fight in the house. Next morning as Ed is leaving for work, he reminds Jade about quitting her job and that she should get it done today. Immediately he leaves, she begins parking up her luggage and goes downstairs to drop it and confirm her husband has left. Not too long, Ed returns home, but he has forgotten his phone. Jade is scared because if he sees her luggage, luckily he finds the phone just there and heads back out. Jade gives a sigh of relief. Jade gets back, rushes her daughter Kayla to run away. Jade moves to stay with her sister. Her sister is really concerned about her well-being as well as Kayla. Ed returns home late in the evening to find an empty house, and stumbles on the note Jade left him which read, "We've left you." Arrogance looks, Ed flares up, trying to grasp what just happened. He tries to call Jade severally, but she ignores his calls all through the night. He's very furious, starts throwing things away. He didn't see this coming. Jade, who is free from her toxic partner, begins a new life. She starts working out, building herself, becoming a new person. A life she was deprived of by Ed. Now she lives on her own terms, not in fear. A new day at work, Jade arrives at her workplace. On entering to her office, there is Ed. He was waiting for her with a bouquet, to ask her to come back home. But in his appearance, one thing for sure is that he's not even changed a bit. No act with remorse, still filled with his ego. Into their conversation, Jade is interrupted by a colleague that they're about meeting with their clients. As if she was waiting for it, she walks out of Ed, angry as usual, throws the bouquet in the trash and walks out. One night, Jade closes late from work, walks down to her car, drops her bags in the back seat. On closing the door, she sees Ed standing there. She's frightened at first, but then she asked him what he's doing here by this time. Ed started being aggressive and tries to hold her, but she tells him to let go of her else she will file a restraining order. He lets go of her, but started using life-threatening words on her. Later that night, things begin to seem off. As Jade sees a car outside their house, she tries to see if she could recognize who the driver is, but he immediately zoomed off to avoid being seen by her. Another day, Jade is walking to her car, her key falls to the ground. A man approaches her with a gun about to shoot, but quickly walks away on seeing Jade's colleague approaching them. Jade is in the greatest shock of her life, the tension. She didn't hesitate, she jumps into her car ignoring her colleague and drives off immediately. Rushing home, she couldn't find her sister and her daughter. With that feeling of fear, she puts a call to Ed, her ex-husband, asking him where their daughter is. Immediately she gets a text message from her sister Lee, that she's with Kayla. She begins to feel relief and told Ed, she's fine. Ed, the mastermind, had traveled out for a conference. Jade moves to file a report about her husband's trying to kill her, but on getting to the station, she bumps into Ed's best friend who is a police sergeant. She changes her mind, feeling that it may even get worse as he will not believe Ed, his friend, is capable of doing such. Finally she confides in her sister, opens up to her about what she went through in the hands of Ed and how he treated her, telling her that she thinks Ed is trying to kill her. Now she's sure that her ex-husband Ed wants her dead. She has to do something. She knows no one would believe that Ed is capable of going such length. But in her strong mind and not going to let him win, she decides to make a plan, to use her death as a way to leave. She begins to make plans. She decides to fake her own death. To make things appear more real, she did this without letting her sister know the truth. After Lee and Kayla leaves the house, Jade is left alone as the man who once tried to kill her arrives at their house. While all this was going on, Jade's ex-husband, Ed, is speaking in a conference. This is his best way of covering tracks since he's not around. Jade is seen struggling, trying to escape. She's hit against the wall with blood stains everywhere around the house. She struggles to survive. Ed comes in feeling his plans has worked. He finds blood stains everywhere around the house. He calls 911 to inform that Jade, his wife, has gone missing. In his mind his plans has worked, but unknowingly to him, he was acting according to the script written by his ex-wife, Jade. Jade faked her death by cutting herself with a knife and planting trails of her blood around the house as if she was struggling to survive. This worked out perfect. Jade, on the other side, has gone into hiding. Ed calls his killer man to give him further directives. The man, not sure who killed her, reluctantly took the credit so he could get his balance for the job. After hours, detective arrives at Ed's house to get information from him. He had his ways of convincing them and making them feel he's the innocent one, turning their attention to Lise, who he said is bipolar and he was trying to help her. Jade, in her hideout, is working tirelessly to torture Ed, who wants her dead. She wants him to feel the pains she felt through the hell he created for her throughout their years of being together. She starts to trail Ed, follow him up to a pay point, where he pays the killer for the job. He starts getting strange calls of reservation for two which he's not aware of. On the other side, Jade is moving quietly, follows the killer back to his base. Over at the dinner reservation, Ed arrives at the place, but sees things arranged and planned in a way that only his wife knows about. He's feeling uneasy and somewhat lost. He opens the card to see written with Jade's handwriting, "Happy anniversary, 10 years and counting." Ed, more confused, walks out of the restaurant. Rushes back home, searches his drawer, picks up a secret phone and listens to the voicemail confirming the killer's words on taking care of the Jade. Later in the night, Jade infiltrates the killer's hideout, dropped her ring which she never took off to buttress the evidence that he killed her. She goes through some files, she sees a police file on his table, she makes research and finds out that the man who was sent by her ex-husband is a police officer. Things gets even complicated. Filled with love and passion for her daughter Kayla, she would watch her out from afar, seeing her makes her happy and full of reason to fight this fight to the end. Kayla went off the road. Jade is curious to know where she's going. She had to break protocols to step out of the car, knowing too well she shouldn't be recognized by anyone. Not quite long, Ed arrives calling out for Kayla. She immediately hides behind a tree to avoid being seen by any of them. She breaks into Ed's house, hacked into his computer, and on going out she went to her room to realize that Ed had moved all her things out. Ed is in a meeting at the hospital. The next slide showed horrifying images of his ex-wife. He was shocked. Those images doesn't sit well with everyone, so he asked them to get out of the conference room. Ed gets home to realize things were rearranged in another way. He finds the torn red dress hung on his bed and realized that all the clothes he removed were replaced back. Ed is getting more frustrated as he seems not to know who's behind this. Demanding answer, he decides to confront the killer, asking him to explain why she's tormenting him if he really killed her. The killer brings out the ring which was planted by Jade, shows to Ed. This really confirms he killed her as he knows she never took off her wedding ring. Ed, still confused, doesn't know what to do. Jade's plans of tormenting him is already playing out as planned. To make matters worse, Jade crowned it all by disguising herself with painted blood stains, tying up herself, takes photographs of herself lying dead, sends them to the police. Ed is called in to identify the photos. He asked who sent them. They said it was encrypted but that they're working to know the source. Following days leaves Ed with more torments and hell. Finally, Jade decides to write Lee, her sister, just to let her know she's safe. She's filled with tears of joy, for the first time in a long time of mourning her sister's death. Things gets really bad for Ed. A patient is almost killed by his loss of control. His hands are shaking during surgery as his mind is unstable with everything going through and ghost of his ex-wife tormenting him. He's asked to take a break because of the loss of his wife. That night, Ed is drunk, he's losing his mind. All of a sudden, Jade's best song is playing out loud from his Bluetooth speakers. Ed is in shock as well as afraid he's tormented by Jade's ghost. He picks up his handgun and starts shooting at random as though someone is with him in the house. Later the police arrives at Ed's place following the gunshots. At night, a crowd gathered. Lee is speaking to the crowd about her sister. Ed is there in the crowd, looking frustrated. Immediately he spotted Jade wearing a hood covering her face. Jade, on realizing she's been spotted by him, makes a move out of the place. Later, he follows Lee to Jade's hideout. He hid himself, not knowing it's all planned. Jade is aware he's followed her there. He attacks her, grabbing her by the neck to make sure he kills her for real this time, but the police arrive. His best friend points a gun at him, ordering him to surrender. Jade reminds Ed of her words. She'd rather die than be with him. Ed is arrested. If you love movie recaps like this, subscribe and like to stay tuned whenever we upload new videos. Also, suggest a movie or genre in the comments section you'd like us to cover.